Ever wonder why so many people regain weight after stopping a GLP-1? Up to 40% of the weight lost can come from lean muscle. This weakens the body, slows metabolism, and makes it easier to put the pounds back on, creating a cycle of dependency. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet offers a drug-free way to maintain results and support long-term metabolic health. In just 5 days, it activates fasting pathways to burn fat, protect muscle, and rejuvenate cells, all while letting you enjoy real food. Get 25% off plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe at prolonlife.com/start. That's prolonlife.com/start.
You hired a new employee. Time to get to work, right? Not quite. First comes HR software for payroll and benefits. Then IT tools to manage devices and app access. And finance software for expenses. Oh, and none of these softwares work together. That's sad. Software as a disservice. Rippling lets you run HR, IT, and finance on one unified platform with automations that save time and connect your workflows. For a limited time, you can get 6 months of Rippling free when you sign up at rippling.com/podcast. That's RIPPLING.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Take control of the numbers and supercharge your small business with Xero. That's Xero. With our easy-to-use accounting software with automation and reporting features, you'll spend less time on manual tasks and more time understanding how your business is doing. 87% of surveyed U.S. customers agree Xero helps improve financial visibility. Search Xero with an X or visit Xero.com/ACAST to start your 30-day free trial. Conditions apply.
Busy work weeks can leave you feeling drained. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet works at the cellular level to rejuvenate you from the inside out, providing real results that include fat-focused, sustainable weight loss with no injection needed. Next Gen builds on the original Prolon with 100% organic soups and teas, a richer taste, and ready-to-eat meals. Developed at USC's Longevity Institute and backed by top medical centers, Prolon supports biological age reduction, metabolic health, skin appearance, fat loss, and energy. Get 25% off plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe at prolonlife.com/start. That's prolonlife.com/start.
You hired a new employee. Time to get to work, right? Not quite. First comes HR software for payroll and benefits. Then IT tools to manage devices and app access. And finance software for expenses. Oh, and none of these softwares work together. That's sad. Software as a disservice. Rippling lets you run HR, IT, and finance on one unified platform with automations that save time and connect your workflows. For a limited time, you can get 6 months of Rippling free when you sign up at rippling.com/podcast. That's RIPPLING.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Toby.
And welcome to the Whispering Woods Extra. This extra is all about
Thomas Bay, the Bay of Death.
Yes, so we're back to Alaska again and another very similar story. I'll get straight into it. Are you ready for the story?
Yes, I am.
Hidden in the misty wilderness of southeast Alaska lies Thomas Bay, a remote fjord framed by rugged peaks and fed by glacial streams. The Bed Glacier spills into this secluded bay, which earned the grim nickname Bay of Death after a prehistoric catastrophe. According to Tlingit oral history, in 1750, a massive mountainside collapsed into Thomas Bay, completely burying a village. over 500 Tlingit people lost their lives in an instant, entombed under an avalanche of earth and rock. To this day, the Tlingit people call the bay Jinana, literally Bay of Death, in memory of that ancient tragedy. Thomas Bay is extremely isolated, part of the vast Tongass National Forest. The landscape is cloaked in dense evergreen rainforest and soaked by relentless rain. Deep mountains, including the towering spire of Devil's Thumb on the horizon, loom over the grey waters. There are no roads into this country. It is reachable only by boat or float plane, if weather allows. This forbidding terrain and its tragic history have long given Thomas Bay a chilling reputation. Indigenous Tlingit elders have warned of dark spirits here, and many avoid the bay altogether, believing it to be haunted. Later settlers and prospectors also sensed an oppressive eeriness in the place, eventually dubbing it Devil's Country, after a series of strange encounters in the early 1900s. By the turn of the 20th century, rumours of gold drew intrepid prospectors into Thomas Bay's wild interior. Among them was a young gold seeker known only as Charlie, later identified as prospector Harry D. Colt in published accounts. In the spring of 1900, Charlie and 3 fellow prospectors in a cabin in Wrangell, a nearby town. An old Tlingit man told Charlie of a rich motherlode of gold buried in Thomas Bay, but he gave an ominous warning. The area was cursed or inhabited by evil spirits, and anyone who went there would be haunted by them. Dismissing the warnings, Charlie set out alone in his canoe, determined to find his fortune in the unmapped forests of Thomas Bay. For weeks, nothing was heard from Charlie. Finally, in June 1900, he staggered back into Wrangell, gaunt, exhausted, and terribly frightened. He clutched a single chunk of quartz shot through with gold, proof that he had found the quartz vein he sought. Yet all his other gear was gone. He was coatless, his canoe nearly empty, and he looked, as one friend later described, like hell. Charlie spoke little at first, except to urgently beg money for passage on the next steamship south. He vowed to leave Alaska at once and never set foot in Thomas Bay again. Alarmed and curious, his prospecting partners pressed him for an explanation. Only after securing a promise that they'd pay his fare to Seattle did Charlie recount the horrifying ordeal that had driven him out of the wilderness. Charlie's story, which would later become local legend, has been preserved in a manuscript called The Strangest Story Ever Told, written by Harry Colt and published years later. According to Charlie, he had followed the old man's directions up the Patterson River into the high country above Thomas Bay, searching for a certain crescent-shaped lake said to lie near the gold. After days of rain and slogging through soggy forests, he finally stumbled upon an unexpected discovery. Not the Half Moon Lake, but an S-shaped alpine lake, later identified as S Lake. There he found an outcropping of rich quartz glittering with gold. It was the strike of a lifetime. Elated, Charlie pried off a large chunk of the gold-flecked quartz and carried it back toward his canoe. As he crested a ridge to orient himself, he realized that the wilderness around him had fallen unnaturally silent. No birds, no squirrels, no sounds at all. A sense of dread crept over him in the quiet. It was then, Charlie claimed, that the nightmare began. From his high vantage point, Charlie saw movement below near the lake. A horde of bizarre creatures was swarming up the mountainside toward him. As he later described it to his friends, these were like nothing known to man. Charlie insisted they were neither men nor monkeys, yet looked like both. Short, stocky, humanoid figures, covered in coarse, dirty hair, with patches of raw scabs and running sores where the hair had fallen away. Dozens of the creatures scrambled and bounded uphill on two legs, emitting unearthly yells and screams that echoed through the valley. The stench of their steaming, stinking bodies hit Charlie like a wave, a foul, rotten odour that made him gag. Terrified, he dropped his supplies and ran for his life through the trees. The creatures gave chase, shrieking wildly. They're only about 4 feet tall. They move with alarming speed. Charlie could hear them gaining on him, their hot breath panting at his heels. Claw-like bony fingers raked at his back, leaving scratches down his flesh as he fled. I couldn't call them anything but devils, as they were neither men nor monkeys, yet looked like both. They were entirely sexless, their bodies covered with long, coarse hair, except where scabs and running sores had replaced it. Each one seemed to be reaching out for me, striving to be the first to get me. The air was full of their cries, and the stench from their sores and bodies made me faint. I could feel their hot breath on my back. Their long claw-like fingers scraped my back. The smell from their steaming, stinking bodies was making me sick, while the noises they made, yelling, screaming and breathing, drove me mad. According to Charlie's account, he ran headlong through the forest, miraculously managing to stay ahead of the swarming devil creatures, in spite of the panic that threatened to overwhelm him. At one point he fumbled for his rifle, but in his terror, he had forgotten it was broken from a fall. In despair, he flung the useless gun at the closest creature and kept running. Somehow, half delirious, he made it back to his canoe on the river and pushed off into the bay just in time. The hairy devils gathered on the shore, shrieking in fury as he paddled frantically away. Charlie didn't stop paddling until he reached the safety of civilization. He had escaped Thomas Bay with his life and the single chunk of gold quartz, but at a terrible cost to his nerves. He told his spellbound listeners that he never wanted to see that cursed place again. True to his word, Charlie bought a ticket on the next ship out and left Alaska immediately. In the aftermath of Charlie's astounding tale, Thomas Bay's sinister reputation only grew. Other prospectors began referring to the area ominously known as the Devil's Country, convinced that some evil dwelt in those woods. In later years, a few curious adventurers couldn't resist investigating Charlie's story for themselves. According to one account, Colt and some companions made a trip to Thomas Bay after hearing the tale, only to retreat in fear. Some men claimed to catch a fleeting glimpse of the same devilish creatures, while others in the party were said to have lost their wits or even vanished without a trace. Whether these follow-up expeditions actually occurred or were simply embellishments added to the legend is hard to verify. But such stories continue to circulate in Alaskan lore. In 1925, one trapper working the hills around Thomas Bay reported seeing strange giant tracks and the disappearance of his dog. When he went back out to investigate, the man himself was never seen again. Incidents like these only reinforced the fearful nickname Devil's Country. The story of the Thomas Bay Devils might have faded into obscurity, except that Harry D. Culp, the prospector who had been Charlie's roommate, wrote it all down in a manuscript in 1925. Culp's The Strangest Story Ever Told preserved Charlie's harrowing experience on paper, exactly as it was told to him. Culp struggled to get the story published during his lifetime. It wasn't until 3 years after Culp's death that his daughter Virginia discovered the forgotten manuscript and decided to publish it in 1935. The little book caused a sensation. Over the decades, it became one of Southeast Alaska's most famous legends, and readers continue to be thrilled and chilled by the tale of Thomas Bay's devil creatures. The Bay of Death legend entered popular folklore. Was Charlie's terrifying account real, or just an imaginative yarn spun by a prospector to justify abandoning a rich claim? It's impossible to know for sure. No physical evidence of the devils was ever found, and no other sightings were documented in a scientific way. Skeptics note that Thomas Bay sits atop mineral deposits that include arsenic, which can cause hallucinations if ingested via contaminated water. Charlie had been weathered in by heavy rains and likely drank from local streams, raising the possibility that his vivid encounter might have been a nightmare, influenced by arsenic-laced water or sheer exhaustion in the unforgiving wilderness. Others have pointed out that Culp's story bears a suspicious resemblance to earlier prospectors' tales. Alaskan newspapers of the 1890s carried a similar story of miners being chased off by a hostile tribe, the so-called Lost Rocker tale, and it suggested that Culp may have adapted that yarn, swapping vengeful natives for supernatural beings to avoid offending local sensibilities. This theory holds that the strangest story ever told could be a piece of creative writing rather than a faithful report. On the other hand, many people past and present have taken Charlie's story at face value, or at least entertained theories on what he might have seen. In the absence of hard proof, speculation has run wild. Bigfoot enthusiasts have embraced the Thomas Bay creatures as yet another regional variant of the Sasquatch legend. The creatures Charlie described, short, hairy, foul-smelling and ape-like, bear some resemblance to Bigfoot lore, aside from their smaller stature. Could a population of undiscovered ape-like hominoids have inhabited the remote Tongass forest? Bigfoot researchers note that Southeast Alaska has abundant space and food for such creatures, and point to Charlie's testimony as historical evidence of hairy wild men in the area. Alternatively, some turn to the Tlingit legend of the Kushtaka, for an explanation. In Tlingit folklore, the Kushtaka are shape-shifting creatures, often described as half-man, half-otter beings that prey on humans in the wilderness. Trickster-like, Kushtaka can mimic voices or cries to lure unsuspecting people away from their homes, sometimes leading them to drown or become lost forever. One haunting twist on the 1750 disaster story suggests that hundreds of villagers who died in the landslide became Kushtakas, their bodies never found, their spirits transformed into otter-like demons roaming Thomas Bay. To believers in the old ways, Charlie may have stumbled into the domain of these very spirits, the devil creatures, could have been Kushtakas, taking on a monstrous form to guard their sacred ground. It's also worth noting how Charlie's story was regarded by those close to it. Decades later, in 1974, Harry Culp's daughter, Virginia, who knew the story intimately from helping her father, was interviewed about the strangest story ever told. She affirmed that her father truly believed Charlie's account was genuine. He had experienced something profoundly frightening, though Virginia herself wisely declined to say whether she thought it was literally true, a hallucination, or perhaps a bit of both. She had fielded many questions over the years, and could only reiterate that her father was an honest man, and the events were recorded as he believed they happened. The mystery, in the end, remains unsolved. Thomas Bay retains its aura of menace and mystery to this day, while modern visitors may find a place that is calmer than the legend suggests. Logging roads crisscross some of the forest now, and occasional adventure cruise ships venture into the bay's waters. Locals in nearby towns still talk about the Bay of Death, and Tlingit elders continue to pass on warnings about the malevolent Kushtaka spirits said to inhabit the area. And those who know the tale of Devil's Country might think twice before camping alone in the shadow of Devil's Thumb.
This holiday, Verizon is helping you bundle up incredible gifts and savings. You'll get the latest phone with the new line on My Plan, and a brand new smartwatch and tablet. No trade-in needed, even on our lowest price plan. That's 2 gifts for your family and 1 for you. Or 2 for you and 1 for someone else. Or 3 gifts for you and only you. Either way, you save big on 3 amazing gifts at Verizon. All on the best 5G network. Visit Verizon today. Rankings based on Root Metric Root Score report dated 1/8/2025. Your results may vary. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Additional terms apply.
Busy work weeks can leave you feeling drained. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet works at the cellular level to rejuvenate you from the inside out, providing real results that include fat-focused, sustainable weight loss with no injection needed. Next Gen builds on the original Prolon with 100% organic soups and teas, a richer taste, and ready-to-eat meals. Developed at USC's Longevity Institute and backed by top medical centers, Prolon supports biological age reduction, metabolic health, skin appearance, fat loss, and energy. Get 25% off plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe at prolonlife.com/start. That's prolonlife.com/start.
That's really creepy and also extremely gutting. So imagine coming back with that tiny bit of gold and you couldn't get the rest because Bigfoots were out there.
It's not stopping me.
No, I didn't suppose it would. I'm not sure it would stop me. You know, getting up to those gold ores and getting in there, getting that gold out. But then I suppose he must have been extremely terrified. Maybe it was the smell.
We'd go back up there with just armoured weapons and like armour.
Yeah.
And that.
And your gang. Get a gang to go up. Or you don't want to share it.
Nah, I'm nuts.
I didn't think you would. Share it with your mum though, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm your little cottage by the sea.
But no, I'd keep it because it's gold in it and then it go up in price and that.
Yeah, but you'd have to sell some. We haven't got any money now. And I think, is it still going up, the price of gold?
I don't know.
No, I thought it would. I thought it actually went down the other day. Not that I watched the price of gold, but I'm sure I heard something.
No,
on the
I'd sell
radio.
it all and then invest in stocks and shares.
Yeah, but which stocks and shares?
Well, whenever Apple releases a new product, I'm investing in one of their shares of that.
Okay.
Or, I don't know, Tesla or something.
Oh.
Quite good right now.
Right, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is, like, I'm getting really into this. This reminds me of when I was, like, a teenager. I used to sit there with my friend and we'd imagine, like, what would you do if you found a black bag full of money? If you had those conversations, and we'd get so into it that we'd actually forget that we haven't found the black bag of money and then come back to Earth with a bump, like, gutted. I was buying this, I was going there, you know. But no.
Yeah, I just invest it all.
You're very wise.
Well, you got to think big, mate. Got, like, people be like, yeah, buy this, all this, and then eventually it's all gone, mate.
Yeah.
You got to, like, take half of it and then put it in something that'll make it go up.
Property.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like property or just shares or something.
Sounds good. Look, we're doing it now because I'm going to be gutted when I realise we don't actually have the gold.
Man's going to have better gold. Don't watch that. Well, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed and we'll catch up with you again soon.
We will indeed. We will I'll catch you again on Saturday and Sunday. And then Toby will be back on Monday for the main episode. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Ever wonder why so many people regain weight after stopping a GLP-1? Up to 40% of the weight lost can come from lean muscle. This weakens the body, slows metabolism, and makes it easier to put the pounds back on, creating a cycle of dependency. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet offers a drug-free way to maintain results and support long-term metabolic health. In just 5 days, it activates fasting pathways to burn fat, protect muscle, and rejuvenate cells, all while letting you enjoy real food. Get 25% off plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe at prolonlife.com/start. That's prolonlife.com/start.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.